My name is Juniper, and I'm 37 years old. I never expected to have a story like this to share, but here goes. Buckle in, folks, because it's going to be a wild ride. It was a sunny afternoon when my in-laws, Margaret and Julian, my mother-in-law and father-in-law respectively, arrived at our home from their much-anticipated vacation. They had always talked about visiting America, and I was more than happy to welcome them into our home. You see, because they lived in France, their home country, we didn't get to hang out as much. But from the little moments we spent together through family reunions and communicating online, I was always under the impression that things were great between us. But I was wrong. Unbeknownst to me at the time, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were concocting an evil plan to disparage my daughter and me, and I was none the wiser for a long while. Little did I know that their visit would reveal a dark undercurrent of resentment and animosity hidden beneath their pleasant facade. "How are you?" "I'm feeling good, Grandma." "Hi, Grandpa. How's your flight?" "It was exhausting. I'm, pooped. I need to take a nap." "Not before you have some refreshments, of course." "Ah, Juniper, you spoil me." "Hello, Ma." "Hello, Papa. I'm glad to see you're doing well." Yes, my son. We made it, thank God." "Hey, speaking English, you two. We also want to be part of the conversation." "This is just your sign to brush up on some French, my dear." From analyzing this conversation, you would assume that we're just like any big, old, happy family. Trust me, I thought the same too. But what will be uncovered soon will truly make you think twice about those extra nice family members that you have. You see, if it wasn't obvious before, I married into a French family. Embracing a new culture and language along with my husband Nicholas while I had mastered French fluently, I had picked up enough words and phrases to sense when something was amiss. Margot and Julian, however, always put on a show of warmth and affection whenever Nicholas was around, keeping their true feelings about me and my daughter, Ashley, concealed. I began to see their true colors when my husband would go to work. Being a housewife, I spent most of my days at home, taking care of our household and nurturing our family. With my in-laws' arrival, I always ensured that I was at home for the most part so that we could catch up. Ashley had also just finished her freshman year of university, and she was home for the summer, so it meant that Ashley and I would finally get to properly hang out with our relatives. In short, I had hoped for a joyful and harmonious time together, one filled with games and laughter and truly getting to know one another in a deeper sense. Although this was true for the beginning of the vacation, as the days went by, I noticed the peculiar pattern emerging. Their conversations were now exclusively held in French, deliberately excluding me and Ashley. Ashley and I would try to be polite, not addressing it out of respect, but one day Ashley said, "Mom, why are they always talking in French now?" "Oh, my love, it's okay. That's the language they're most comfortable in, so we have to be more accommodating." "I get that, but it's happening all the time now. I thought that we would get the chance to hang out with them and have a great time together." "We will, sweetie, we will. Let's just let them adjust to America first. It must be a lot for them to handle." "Okay, it'll get better. I know it will." So Ashley and I dismissed it and deemed it as just a harmless quirk. But as the days turned into weeks and their conversations grew harsh whenever I entered the room, my suspicions deepened. It became clear that they were intentionally isolating us, deliberately keeping secrets within their private French exchanges. Ashley was also growing more and more curious about their behavior, getting offended because she really wanted to get to know her cool French grandparents, but they were making it extremely difficult. In an attempt to bring us closer together and bridge this apparent gap that was forming, one day during the week I proposed that we play a game. "The rules are very simple," I said. "We'll go around telling each other 2 truths about ourselves and 1 lie, and it's up to the rest of the gang to decide which one is the lie." "Oh, that sounds fun, and it would be a good way to get to know each other," Ashley chimed in. To our surprise, both Margot and Julian were not even excited to play this game. They looked bored and slightly irritated. Sensing their discomfort as well as attempting to be a good host, I decided to scrap the idea and ask them what they would like to do instead. I would like to drink some tea and chat with my husband, Margot said. Oh, okay. Is it okay if Mom and I join? I asked. No. Nicholas's outburst shocked us, but he quickly recovered. I mean, no, my dear. We just would like to enjoy a quiet afternoon. All right. You see, we're much older, and these types of games don't really appeal to us, Julian added. But you two don't ever talk to us. You're always speaking in French, Ashley interjected. How dare you talk to us like this? So disrespectful. Were you raised on a farm? Margot exclaimed. How dare you speak to my daughter this way? She's a kid. She just wants to hang out with you guys, but you're making it difficult. How can you say something so vile? I countered. Whatever. Let's go, Julianne. Julianne and Margot stood up from the table, and they began to speak very loudly in French, not attempting to conceal their words at all. I couldn't make out exactly what they were saying, but from their dispositions and attitude, it wasn't rocket science to determine that they were talking about us, and it wasn't in a very pleasant way. I was too embarrassed to tell Nicholas about what happened that day when he came home in the evening, and I was scared that he would notice some tension at the dinner table when we all sat down to eat. But Ashley and I were surprised. Both Margot and Julianne were talking to us very nicely, as if nothing had happened earlier. We were communing as if we were one big, happy family. But this didn't really sit right with Ashley and me. Some days later, fueled by curiosity and a growing sense of betrayal, I decided to take matters into my own hands. As Margot and Julianne chatted away in the living room, as they usually do, I discreetly reached for my phone and hit the record button. With trembling hands, I captured their voices and their words, hoping to uncover the truth hidden within their clandestine conversations. After successfully capturing the needful, I was gaining confidence. One day turned into 2, then 3, then 4, and sure enough, I had collected voice recordings of different conversations spanning over a week. I meticulously collected evidence, documenting their conversations whenever the opportunity arose. As was mentioned previously, I had only a somewhat infantile knowledge of the French language. I couldn't decipher what they were saying exactly, but as I tried to listen over and over again, I picked up on some really rude words. I was actually quite fearful of what I'd find if I properly translated everything, but I knew that I had to get to the bottom of this behavior. Luckily for me, I had a friend who spoke French. Camille was from Senegal, and she migrated to the States when she was an infant. Although she was practically raised as an American, her immigrant parents always ensured that she was still able to speak her native tongue, so she was the perfect candidate for helping me decipher this information. One day, I called her and told her to come over, and once she arrived, I brought her around the back of the house so that Margot and Julian didn't see her. Camille and I found a moment alone outside where we could speak discreetly. I poured my heart out to her, sharing the instances of this strange behavior and my growing suspicions. Camille was a pillar of support, assuring me that she would help me uncover the truth. From what you're telling me, it sounds like they're talking about some pretty shady stuff, you know. But don't worry. I'll do my best to help out in any way I can. Thanks, love. You're a lifesaver. Just doing my job as a best friend. As I played the audio for Camille, her face grew pale and she started trembling. Camille, what's wrong? I can't breathe. Panic attack. She was gasping really loudly for air, and I was also getting fearful. I never expected her to be this overwhelmed by what she was hearing. Fear also gripped me as I tried to calm her down, doing my best to provide the comfort she needed at that moment. I ran inside to get a glass of water, and I put her in the cool shade, making her lie down so that she could calm down. I was serving her and massaging her skin until her attack subsided. Thankfully, I managed to help her regain her composure without raising suspicion from Margot and Julian, who were inside probably gossiping away. Ashley, however, happened to be near her bedroom window and overheard the commotion. Worried, she rushed downstairs to check on us. I explained to her what had transpired, sharing that I secretly recorded what her grandparents were saying, and whatever it was that they were saying was so disturbing that it caused Camille to have a panic attack. We were both horrified by what we might uncover. Once Camille was ready to talk, she apologized for her reaction. Don't you dare apologize. You did nothing wrong. All that matters is that you're safe now. Don't worry, Julian and Margot didn't see you. They seem to have moved to the front lawn, so Ashley and I managed to bring you upstairs. You gave us quite a fright, Camille, but I'm glad you're safe now. I probably should have warned you about my affinity for panic and anxiety attacks, but honestly, I wasn't expecting to hear such awful information bombard my ears like that. Tell us, Camille, what were they saying? Camille took a deep breath and then a deep glug of water and proceeded to relay what she heard on the recordings. Music, Juniper, Ashley, there is no easy way to tell you this, so I'm just going to do my best. It appears as though Margot and Julianne want to sell Ashley on the black market to some very sick and twisted people. Both Ashley's and my jaws hit the floor. We were completely flabbergasted. What the hell? That's not all they said, that they wanted to sell you to Juniper and they were planning on faking your deaths by saying you got into an awful car accident that burnt up into flames, so that there's no evidence of your bodies. They said that they'd make a fortune off of Ashley because of her age. I think I'm gonna be sick. They were so cold and callous about everything, you guys. Like, they didn't care one bit that they were going to sell you to some twisted people. That's why I had a panic attack. I had never heard of someone being so candid about such an awful crime. You can take a break if you need to, the both of you. It's a lot to handle. Why aren't you crying right now? Aren't you feeling sick, Mom? Of course I'm feeling sick, but right now I'm just angry. They threatened to hurt you, Ashley, and for that I will never forgive them. They said a lot more harrowing things, but I think for all our sakes, I will spare us the details, at least for now. Camille, Ashley, and I all felt extremely fearful and sick to our stomachs. We simply couldn't believe that we had been sharing a home with criminals for the past month. Although I was scared, I was also fueled by unbridled rage. I wanted to go there and yell at them until they had shriveled up into raisins, but Camille stopped me. June, I get it. You're upset, as you rightfully should be. But there's no way that you are going down there to expose what you know. What do you mean? They threatened my daughter's life. I know that. I heard it, Camille. I just don't think it's smart for you to approach them right now with no game plan. I mean, you live with these people. Who's to say that they won't harm you in any way they see fit? You're right. You're absolutely right. We have the upper hand right now because we know their plans. We can't give up that privilege so easily. So, what are we gonna do? We're gonna get the hell out of here. What? Yep. Go and pack your essentials and lock your door too, just in case. I'll be in here doing the same. Camille, please help her out while I stay here and call Nicholas. Sure thing. We'll be back here when you're done. Once they left the room, I began to cry. I was so overwhelmed with what I heard that I just had to break down, but I was so relieved to find out this information sooner rather than later. I called Nicholas and I told him everything. I told him how his parents were treating us for the past month. I told him about the rude outburst they had towards Ashley after we offered to play a game. And of course, I told him about the recordings as well as the translations that Camille provided. Not that he needed her to translate anything for him, rather to prepare him for what he was going to hear. I'm sure that you'll understand exactly what they mean. Camille wasn't too forthcoming with all of the details, but she told us enough to know that our safety isn't guaranteed here. I'm taking Ashley to Camille's house as soon as I'm done packing, but I had to tell you everything. I know it must feel like I dropped a bomb on your lap right now, but you need to know the truth. Yeah, that's a lot of new information. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner about the other stuff. I thought I could handle it. I knew it would break your heart to find out that we weren't getting along as you wanted. Let me listen to the audio, okay, and I'll get back to you. We cut the call, and I proceeded to pack my things, all the while peeking through the window to see if the two monsters were still outside. By the time I was done packing, Camille and Ashley came back into my room just as I was finishing up. I got a call from Nicholas. He was extremely upset and distraught. I mean, who wouldn't be after finding out that their parents were criminals? He said that we needed to get out of the house immediately and that Nicholas would meet us at Camille's place. We all discreetly got in the car that was parked in the garage, and we sped off. Of course, Marco and Julian saw us driving off and they called me, but I didn't pick up the phony. Once we arrived at Camilla's house, I called the police and directed them to the house so that they could arrest my mother-in-law and father-in-law. 30 minutes had passed and Nicholas had arrived at Camille's place. We embraced and we cried for a good hour or two, and all the while Camille was giving us updates from the police raid. The police had arrested Margot and Julian. Nicholas revealed that before he came to Camille's house, he stopped at the police station to drop off the evidence that I had sent digitally to him. Now that the police had all the evidence, it was way easier for them to deal with this case. Although we weren't there to witness it, I'm sure that the looks on Margot's and Julian's faces were a sight to behold. Margot and Julian were definitely caught off guard as the police stormed into my home. Their faces must have been etched with shock and disbelief. They were swiftly arrested and restrained due to the severity and seriousness of the crimes they were being accused of. The once proud and manipulative couple stood there, now stripped of their power and exposed for the criminals they truly were. News of their arrest spread quickly throughout the community, causing a stir and disbelief among our acquaintances and neighbors. It was truly harrowing to know that such a dramatic and movie-like experience was happening to simple and plain people like us. The revelation of their involvement in human trafficking sent shockwaves through the town, shattering the illusion of the respectable facade they had maintained for years, both back in their home country as well as here. The legal proceedings that followed were arduous, with the prosecution presenting a strong case built on the compelling evidence against Margot and Julian that I managed to gather for those weeks. Their actions were laid bare in the courtroom, leaving no doubt about their guilt at all. The jury, rightfully appalled by the heinousness of their crimes, delivered a unanimous verdict of guilty on multiple charges related to human trafficking and conspiracy. As the judge pronounced the verdict, the courtroom erupted in a mix of relief and satisfaction. Margot and Julian, once regarded with respect by Nicholas, Ashley, and me, now faced the consequences of their malicious actions. They were sentenced to lengthy prison terms, and they were also set to be tried back in France, which has stricter laws regarding this sort of thing. In short, we wouldn't be seeing these people for a long time, and because of their ages, they would most likely live out the rest of their days rotting in prison. They were deemed a serious danger to our family, and their prison sentences ensured that they would be kept away from society. Good riddance. The news of their arrest and conviction reverberated nationally, becoming a really big news story, as well as serving as a warning to those who believe they could perpetrate such atrocities without facing justice. It was a triumph for justice and a reminder that no one is above the law. While the legal system continued to process the aftermath of their crimes, Ashley, Nicholas, and I focused on healing and rebuilding our lives. The trauma caused by Margot and Julian's betrayal would not be easily forgotten, and Nicholas was having an especially difficult time. But we stood strong together, supporting each other every step of the way. Our bond grew stronger as we navigated the aftermath of the arrest and worked together to overcome the trauma we had endured. Ashley, my brave and resilient daughter, showed remarkable strength in the face of adversity. She had witnessed firsthand the dark side of human nature, but she refused to let it define her. With the support of therapy and the unwavering love of her family, she embarked on the journey of healing and self-discovery. Through art and expression, she found solace and a means to process her emotions, gradually reclaiming her sense of security and confidence. Nicholas, my steadfast husband, stood by our side throughout the entire ordeal. He played an instrumental role in supporting both Ashley and me, offering unwavering love and understanding. Together, we attended counseling sessions, fostering open and honest communication as we addressed the wounds inflicted by Margot and Julian. Nicholas's calming presence and unwavering commitment to our family provided a solid foundation for our healing journey. One evening, as we sat together in the living room, our hearts heavy but determined, I initiated a conversation about our progress and plans for the future. The room was filled with a mix of emotions, but a sense of optimism permeated the air. "How are you feeling these days, Ashley? You've shown incredible strength through everything." "It hasn't been easy, Mom, but I'm getting there. Art has become my sanctuary, my way of expressing and releasing the pain. And with therapy, I'm learning to reframe my perspective and rebuild my trust in others." "We're so proud of you, Ashley. Your resilience inspires us every day, We're here for you always. That's right, sweetheart. We're in this together, and we'll continue to support and uplift each other as we move forward. We've come a long way, and we have an even brighter future ahead. Thank you both. I don't know where I'd be without your love and guidance. We've gone through so much, but we've also grown stronger, and now we have the chance to reclaim our lives and make a positive impact. Absolutely, my love. We've endured the darkest of times, but we've emerged with newfound strength and resilience. We won't let the actions of others define us. Together, we'll create a future filled with love, happiness, and fulfillment. We're a family, and nothing can break us apart. We've proven that. Let's keep supporting each other, healing, and building the life we deserve. We're stronger than ever, and we'll embrace every opportunity that comes our way. The dialogue was filled with a mix of emotions, ranging from the lingering pain of the past to the hopeful anticipation of the future. As we continued our healing journey, we found solace in one another, knowing that together we could overcome any obstacle and create a life filled with love and joy.